Are you craving the sweet and cozy flavors of fall? Then these caramel apple cupcakes may just be what you're looking for. They are perfectly spiced and fluffy applesauce cupcakes topped with the sweet and creamy homemade caramel buttercream frosting. Start by lining your cupcake tins with fun and colorful cupcake liners. Buttermilk is one of the elements that makes these cupcakes moist and tender. To avoid buying a large amount, make homemade buttermilk by adding in 3/4 teaspoon of lemon juice to whole milk and let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. One of the biggest challenges many people have is not knowing how to utilize the spices for other recipes like the ones used in this recipe. However, these spices are perfect for other classics like my pumpkin crisp or my mom's old-fashioned Swedish apple cake. Once you have all your dry ingredients sifted together, prepare the wet ingredients. Usually I'm a huge fan of oil-based cakes because of the wonderful texture oil yields. However, butter always adds amazing flavor. These cupcakes provide the best of both worlds, the flavor from butter and the tenderness from applesauce and buttermilk. If you're new to baking, one of the best tips I can give is to scrape down the sides of your mixing bowl often when beating the wet ingredients. This will ensure even mixing and will prevent lumps in your final product. Also, another rule of thumb of baking is to mix your dry ingredients together as much as your heart desires and your wet ingredients also as much as your heart desires. But when mixing the two together, only mix just until incorporated. One of the most important tips when making cupcakes is to only fill the liners 3/4 of the way full. This will allow the cupcakes enough room to rise and expand without overflowing. Also, using a cookie scoop with the release mechanism will make the job 1,000 times easier. Once your cupcakes are baked, you'll need to let them cool completely before frosting them. Okay, now onto the caramel buttercream frosting. To begin, beat your room temperature butter until creamy and smooth. Add in the caramel and beat again until creamy and well incorporated. This will take about 8 to 10 minutes. A few notes about the caramel sauce. I use my dark caramel sauce recipe because the darker the caramel sauce, the more flavor it infuses into the buttercream. Also, I purposely made the caramel sauce thicker by cooking it to a final temperature of 233 degrees Fahrenheit. However, within the dark caramel sauce recipe, I explain how to make either lighter caramel along with fluid or firm and chewy caramel. One of the most important elements of this buttercream is to sweeten it to your preferred sweetness level. The recipe calls for 3 cups of powdered sugar. However, this may be entirely too sweet for some. Because of this, it's best to start with 2 cups and taste test to see if more is needed. Once your buttercream is completed, frost your cupcakes immediately. The easiest way to fill your pastry bag is by folding the edges outwards over itself and then placing it into a drinking glass for stability while filling it with buttercream. To achieve the same look as seen here, make sure to use a large open star decorating tip in the bottom of the pastry bag. Once your bag is prepared, press the tip in the center of the cupcake and lift your hand while pressing out the frosting. I shared the exact pastry bag and decorating tip I used within the recipe post. Also, I share how I did the caramel drizzle in addition to how to prevent the apple slices from turning brown. For more recipes like this and for weekly inspiration, make sure to head on over to thefedupfoodie.com and sign up for my newsletter where I share recipes and tips in helping to make cooking from scratch approachable.